You didn't think I was just going to stay silent, did you? Let's get into it. Today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Booney, one name, all passion, lifelong A's fan. Today's episode is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you will get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. I have spent the better part of a year walking the tightrope of objectivity, calling out John Fisher's penny pinching, his PR disasters, and his uncanny ability to make Scrooge McDuck look generous. I've said it all. I've dragged ownership when they deserved it, which was often, and I've given credit to the players and the staff still grinding throughout all the chaos. I played it straight down the middle, but apparently that is not allowed. Apparently, being an A's fan who holds the city of Oakland accountable is blasphemy in the Church of East Bay Denial. All I did was point out that local government fumbled harder than a wet football, and boom, I'm suddenly baseball's Benedict Arnold. And what did I get for daring to be balanced? Mocked, trolled, a fake Twitter account made in my name. You called it Locked On Ass, complete with bad grammar and worse takes. Oh, and let's not forget about the death threat, because nothing says true fan like threatening to off a guy for liking baseball in Nevada. I bit my lip for months on attendance, trying to be respectful. But if remaining an A's fan while acknowledging the obvious gets me crucified, maybe it's time I lean into the villain role. If being honest makes me the bad guy, then fine. Pass me the black hat and cue the organ music. Let's start with facts, not feelings. Since 2000, the A's have had the 7th most playoff appearances in all of Major League Baseball. That's right. While so-called big markets were spinning their wheels, the A's were out there punching above their payroll. The franchise ranks 6th all-time in total wins from 2000 to 2021, ahead of teams with triple the budget and 10 times the excuses. Add 4 World Series championships and 6 World Series appearances, and you've got a franchise with a resume that screams greatness. And yet, for a fan base that claims to bleed green and gold, you never know it from the empty seats at the Coliseum. Let's not sugarcoat it. This fan base got spoiled by winning and still couldn't be bothered to show up. The A's would roll out 95-win seasons, and the fans would roll out excuses. It's the ownership, they'd say. It's the ballpark. The truth is, when you can't fill a stadium during a playoff chase, that's not loyalty. It's laziness dressed up as a protest. And speaking of dysfunction, Oakland City leadership didn't exactly inspire confidence. While the A's were trying to build something, anything, the city's political machine was melting down. Let's not forget that Mayor Sheng Tao got indicted on federal corruption charges, the lead negotiator in the A's staying in Oakland, and the Bay Area media's best friend at the time. The city that couldn't keep its lights on now wants credit for being the victim? Come on. It's hard to build a stadium when City Hall is being raided by the FBI. That's not bad luck. That is bad governance. Meanwhile, the fans who claim to be the heart and soul of the A's couldn't even get to the ballpark. The A's have been among baseball's most consistent winners of the 21st century. Yet, you would think they were running an independent league from the crowd sizes. Year after year, they ranked near the bottom of attendance, even when they were contending. In 2019, the team won 97 games and still averaged fewer fans than teams that lost 90. That's not protest. That's apathy with a drum circle. And please, spare me the Coliseum was falling apart routine. I've heard that too many times. The fans wore that dump like a badge of honor when it suited the narrative. The drum section, the foul territory, the grit, that was supposed to be the charm. But when it came time to back the team financially, suddenly everyone became a stadium critic. You can't brag about being blue collar if you stop showing up for work. The A's weren't abandoned by ownership, they were abandoned by their own audience. If you want to know why the A's are moving, look no further than the scoreboard of civic effort. The franchise kept winning while the city kept losing teams, businesses, and eventually credibility. The A's were the last team standing in a city that had already waved the white flag. The Raiders left, the Warriors left, and now the A's, the most successful of the bunch, are packing up as well. You can't be surprised when the last tenant turns off the lights. Even when the A's gave the fans something to believe in, a magical 2012 run, a homegrown 2018 core, the crowd stayed home. Twitter was loud, but the turnstiles were silent. Everyone suddenly became an expert in civic finance and relocation law, but no one wanted to buy a ticket. You can't call yourself the most loyal fan base in baseball if you need a protest sign to remember the last time you actually went to a game. Vegas, on the other hand, hasn't hosted a single A's home game yet and already shows more life. Deposits are in, partnerships are forming, the energy is real. It's not nostalgia, it's momentum. The fans aren't clinging to ghosts, they are excited about what's next. And that's the difference. Oakland fans mourned what they lost. Vegas fans are building what's coming. So let's stop pretending this was some tragic love story where one partner stopped showing up and then got mad the other one moved on. The A's didn't leave a packed house, they left an echo chamber. They didn't leave loyalty, they left lethargy. I tried to see both sides, but there's no middle left to stand. And to be honest, what's the point? The facts are the A's did their part. The fans didn't. And now the team's off to Vegas, where people actually seem to care. You can call it betrayal if you want. I call it evolution. East Bay fans want to be martyrs when they were barely participants. And don't even start with the he's pro Fisher nonsense or I am working for Fisher. You know about as much about me as you know about the A's roster in the last 2 decades. No one's pro Fisher, but there's a difference between acknowledging reality and hiding behind nostalgia. The A's didn't leave a thriving market, they left a neglected one. You can blame the billionaires all you want, but they only move teams when the math says the market's tapped out. Oakland stopped proving otherwise a long time ago. So go ahead and call me whatever you want, sellout, fake fan, double agent. I've heard it all at this point, but I'll tell you what I am: consistent. I looked at both sides and I got roasted for it. Now I'm done pretending there were 2 sides at all. The A's fan base didn't get robbed. They pawned off their own franchise and then got mad someone else bought it. Vegas isn't stealing the A's. They're adopting a team that's been waiting for years for someone to show up and care. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all of our financial accounts, let alone what they are worth. Between 401ks, savings, and investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy to use interface on your laptop or your phone. It's helped me organize my accounts, track my spending, and get a better handle on my investments without having to touch a spreadsheet. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where my money's going and how to make it work harder for me. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Playing Prize Picks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley's rushing for a touchdown, and you're in the game. I love how quick it is. You can make your lineup in under a minute. My favorite part, Prize Picks just added stacks. So if I want to ride with a player, I can select their passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns all in one lineup. It's also fun to follow other players in the app and copy their lineups with one click. And the new injury reboot feature, if your player leaves early and doesn't return, it won't count against you. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. So let me get this straight, East Bay fans. You want a shiny new stadium. Okay. You want the team to win. They did, but that's not enough, is it? You demand they re-sign stars you didn't bother to support when they were on the rise. You want to sign the flashy free agents, even though they may not be as good as the rising stars you do have. But even then, winning isn't the end game unless it's done your way with your chosen players. And only then, maybe you'll show up. In summary, new stadium, spend lots of money on flashy free agents or re-sign your existing players who you didn't show up for when they were rising stars. And finally, they have to win. Now that is a fan base. The A's had a hardcore 8,000 to 10,000 fans, no question. But let's be honest, the only team that was truly embraced by the city of Oakland was the Raiders. Enough with the BS. East Bay fans treated the A's like a timeshare they only visit when it's trendy. They say they want a new stadium, great. They say they want the team to win, the A's did that a lot. Like I said, I'll say it again. 7th most playoff appearances since 2000. 6th most wins from 2000 to 2021. 4 rings. 6 World Series appearances. But apparently that's not enough. They want the fairy tale ending without ever buying the ticket. I've tried to play it fair. I've defended these fans. I've said Fisher's cheap. I've said the front office lost its ways. I've acknowledged the heartbreak. And what did I get for my trouble? A steady stream of insults from the same people who couldn't be bothered to show up when the team was good. It's like getting spit on by someone who didn't buy a ticket in the first place. You cannot make this stuff up. Yes, the loyal fans, they deserve their respect, but the rest? Jeez, come on. They talk legacy and loyalty online, but in real life, they couldn't name half the roster. They love the idea of the A's, the nostalgia, the green and gold aesthetic, but they checked out long before the moving trucks ever did. The A's have done more with less than almost any franchise in sports history. Have I mentioned 4 titles, 6 pennants, decades of player development brilliance? But apparently that doesn't count if it wasn't done with a $1 billion budget and fireworks after every home run. East Bay fans didn't just want success, they wanted status. They wanted to feel like Yankee fans without putting in Yankee level support. Sorry, you don't get to act suppressed while sitting at home streaming Giants games. Let's not pretend Oakland ever truly embraced the A's like they did the Raiders. The black hole was a lifestyle. The A's bleachers were a hobby. Raider Nation filled the Coliseum to the brim for a 2-14 season. A's fans couldn't fill the lower deck for a division winner. That's not passion. It's pretense. The Raiders were family. The A's were a fling. And the hypocrisy, the absolute hypocrisy off the charts. They will scream about how Fisher's a disgrace for being cheap, then brag how they haven't given him a dime in 5 years. That's not a boycott. It's freeloading with principles. You cannot claim moral superiority for avoiding the ballpark when you weren't going in the first place. Newsflash, you can't boycott something you abandoned a decade ago. Meanwhile, Vegas is buzzing, the stadium's going up, fans are buying in, and businesses are lining up for partnerships. The same fan base that cannot stand success in Oakland is mocking enthusiasm in Nevada. It's jealousy disguised as moral outrage. Deep down, they know the truth. The A's are about to matter again, and not in a city that took them for granted. So yeah, I've tried being diplomatic. I've given credit where it's due, but the East Bay fan base isn't a fan base. It's a memory with Wi-Fi. They've thrown every insult my way for saying what they already know. They didn't show up. They didn't care, and they lost the team. Now I'm the bad guy for saying it out loud. Fine. I'll wear it like a gold chain, because here's the truth. Being the villain doesn't bother me. Being honest does. The A's didn't leave their fans. The fans left them first. So if calling out the fakery makes me the bad guy, then so be it. Someone's got to say it. The East Bay didn't lose baseball. Baseball lost interest in the East Bay. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you will unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, tried player props, and even followed the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you have got a little something riding on the action. Whether you are a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress. I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. And that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED, designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougiette makes it to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit rugiet.com/yak, Y-A-K, to get 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com/YAK. And don't forget to use our code LOCKEDONMLB so they know we sent you. Rougiette. Stop making excuses and start making moves. Ah, yes, the reverse boycott, the movement that was supposed to save the A's, but instead turned into the greatest unforced error in baseball history. Imagine holding a protest so poorly thought out that it accidentally helps the billionaire you're protesting against. That's not activism. That's a marketing campaign for relocation. The fans thought they were sticking it to John Fisher. In reality, they gift wrapped his escape route and put a bow on it. The logic was flawless, right? We'll all show up one night to prove how loyal we are. Great. One night out of 81. Congratulations. You managed to fill the stadium once in a decade. That's not a movement. That's a cameo. You can't call yourself the most loyal fan base because you bought tickets for a single Tuesday game like it was a music festival. The rest of MLB saw that crowd and said, wow, they can show up. They just don't. And MLB owners, they were watching. They weren't scared of Fisher. They were terrified of you, not because your movement was powerful, but because it was contagious stupidity. If other cities started reverse boycotting, suddenly you would have mobs of fans turning protest nights into revenue generators. The other 29 owners didn't want that precedent set, so they made sure this problem disappeared faster than the last beer in the bleachers. So the vote comes around 30-0, unanimous. Not even one owner stood up and said, hey, maybe this fan base deserves another shot. Nope, they couldn't approve that Vegas relocation fast enough. It was like watching a group chat of billionaires hitting like on a bad idea. And the cherry on top? Yeah, they waived the relocation fee. Fisher saved $500 million, thanks to the very fan base that said they were going to make him pay. Beautiful irony, the kind Shakespeare would have killed for. The reverse boycott was supposed to say, look, baseball matters here. What it actually said was, we'll show up when it's convenient. And MLB heard that loud and clear. Owners saw it and thought, if this is what passion looks like, Vegas can do better. That night didn't save the A's. It confirmed every suspicion the league already had. The fan base was loud online, but invisible in the stands. The Sell the Team campaign. Admirable idea, terrible execution. Did you really think billionaires were going to cave because a few hundred fans held up green signs on the third baseline? The owners probably framed those pictures as cautionary tales in their offices. See, this is why we don't negotiate with Twitter. The campaign was loud, messy, emotional, and utterly powerless. If you think sell signs scare MLB owners, I have a Howard Terminal render to sell you. And remember, every dollar from that protest night went straight into Fisher's pocket. You bought the tickets, you bought the beer, you bought the merch to send a message. The message he got, thanks for the cash. See you in Vegas. It's the only protest in history where the oppressed directly funded the oppressor's gateway. That's not rebellion. That's underwriting. Let's not pretend Fisher didn't love every minute of it. He got national headlines, proof of a temporary attendance spike, and a sympathy card from MLB headquarters. You know who else loved it? Yeah, the other owners. They saw Fisher's mess and realized, wait, we could move our teams for free if our fans protest dumb enough. The A's didn't get punished for dysfunction. They got rewarded. In the end, the reverse boycott didn't unite fans. It exposed them. It showed that the passion was performative, the anger misplaced, and the strategy non-existent. The fans wanted to show MLB they cared. Instead, they showed them they already had given up. Fisher didn't outsmart the fan base. They outsmarted themselves. So yeah, the movement that was supposed to save baseball in Oakland ended up saving John Fisher $500 million. You couldn't script it better if you tried. The Sell campaign sold nothing. The reverse boycott reversed nothing. And the city that thought it was sending a message to MLB ended up sending a postcard from irrelevance. Wish you were here. Love, Vegas. The A's are not just a baseball team. They are a reflection of us. The underdogs, the overlooked, the doubted, the left behind. In a world that tells us to line up in order of perceived value, the A's are what happens when the people at the back of the line get their shot. They have always been built on cast-offs, misfits, and the kids with something to prove. Players who didn't have 5 stars next to their name on some ranking site. Players who were told they were too old, too young, too small, too raw. Players who carried around a chip on their shoulder like it was a badge of honor. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yeah. Because we have all been there. Told no, passed over, laughed at. We've all had those moments where we looked in the mirror and wondered if we were good enough. That's what makes the A's perfect. Not because they are flawless, but because their flaws are our flaws. They mirror our struggle, our grind, our resilience. They lose, they rebuild, they rise again, just like we do. They aren't about John Fisher or shiny free agents or press clippings. They are about that moment when a 24th round pick smokes a double into the gap. They are about the kid who slept in his car on the way to spring training and ends up making the opening day roster. They are about us. The people who fight for everything they get, who believe that heart beats hype every single time. The A's are the anthem for the unchosen. The team that keeps swinging even when nobody's watching. The imperfect, untamed, unpredictable fire that refuses to go out. So yeah, being an A's fan is messy, it's painful, it's frustrating, but it's real. And in a sports world addicted to polish and polishers, real is the rarest thing of all. The A's are not a brand, they are a belief. They are a belief that has succeeded and won like few franchises in all of baseball. And if you've ever been counted out, overlooked, told you're not good enough, you already know they are you. And you are perfect. Stacking chips, building a dynasty for 2028 Las Vegas. It started in 72. It has the same type of feel. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen every day. For your second listen, find the all-night Locked On MLB game night. Every game, every night until a World Series champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB game night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts.